Welcome to Toffee TV. Today I am joined by Jeff Wallner all the way from Cincinnati to have a chat about Jeff's love of Everton. Why he's an Evertonian is the burning question, and one he, like I've just said to him off camera, one he probably asks himself a lot after days like Sunday. But and just to find out a little bit about how that journey began to Jeff and what it's like supporting Everton from across the pond to us. So Jeff, welcome. Glad to speak to you, mate.
It's good to speak to you. Always good to see you. And yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So come on then. I was a man from Cincinnati, an avid Evertonian, the way you are. How did all that become a thing in your life?
It's I've told the story so many times. It's kind of difficult to kind of explain how things kind of transpired, because I didn't really anticipate this. I didn't anticipate Everton becoming such a big part of my life. I think I pursued it like so many other Americans who, over the past 2 or 3 decades, really started to fall in love with the sport. Really started to fall in love with football/soccer, and so I pursued it, I think, the same way a lot of other people did, where I was looking for a Premier League team to support. And you kind of go into it looking to learn a little bit more about the league. I guess being a journalist, I took it a little more serious than maybe a lot of people did, where I I did a lot more research than maybe most. Tried to learn as much as I could about English football history. Um, and Everton kind of jumped off the page so many times. Now, I was aware of Everton, obviously, because of Tim Howard, because of
Yeah.
Landon Donovan. I didn't want to choose Everton because we had American players.
Mm.
I consider that to be kind of a bonus, but I tried to kind of look past that. And as luck would have it, what kind of pushed things kind of forward for me was I have a friend in Cincinnati who I knew was from England, but I wasn't aware he was from Liverpool.
Right.
And I wasn't aware that he was a generational Evertonian, deep roots with his family. And he said, let's go out, and he said, we'll go out for a pint or two and we'll talk about Everton. And he told me story after story about Goodison Park and about friends of his who were fans and about match days. And it just sounded perfect. But even then, I kind of figured, okay, well, now I have a club. I'll buy a kit. I'll have a club to support on Saturdays. I didn't expect Everton to do what Everton does, which is, the supporters embraced me
Yeah.
from the start. The club kind of grabs you from the start. The history grabs you from the start, and pretty soon Everton had become this huge part of my life that I didn't anticipate. And then a few years after, fortunately, was able to go over to Liverpool, and I made it a point to spend extra time because I didn't want to just go to a match, make it all about Everton. So I went and I spent 8 days in Liverpool and fell in love with the city, fell in love with the people. Was able to tour Goodison, was able to attend a match, obviously, and after you experience all of that, you come back and you think, okay, now there's no turning back. Now this
Yeah.
is I'm all in on this, and Everton's going to be a part of my life, and I wanted to get more involved, and that's kind of how everything else kind of transpired. Looking for ways to get involved with the local supporters group, and looking for ways to get involved with the fans forum, but yeah, I think I kind of went into it just like everybody else. But Everton, it's the Alan Ball quote, right?
Yeah, that's the
Everything
one.
grabs you, and all of a sudden it's not what you expect. But good, bad, or indifferent, through the frustration of recent years, through the frustration of this past weekend, it's still, I wouldn't trade it for anything. I've met so many people. I've made new friends here in Cincinnati. I've made new friends in other parts of the US. I've made so many friends in Liverpool. I have friends in Dublin now. And these are people that I would have never met had it not been for, and that's kind of what it means. That's where you kind of go from it being a football club to being something more than a football club. And it's because of the friends you make and the relationships you develop, and that's what makes it kind of bigger than just a football club. So yeah,
you've made a
I'm glad
brave
to
choice.
yeah, it's been a ton of fun, and it's just I'm fortunate that Everton came into my life, and yeah, it's been great, and I look forward to more in the future.
Absolutely, and hopefully some better times, because we've been starved very much recently of doing anything good. So, like I say, you have made a very, very brave choice. What's your match day routine like then? How do you follow the games and stuff? You have to get up very early and all of that.
Yeah, we're fortunate because we're Eastern time zone in Cincinnati, so we're in the best situation of much better situation than a lot of other people in the U.S. I feel for the people who are working very hard to grow supporters groups in the Western and Mountain time zones, where the matches are starting at 4:30 a.m. and yet they're still doing it. Cheers to them.
Yeah,
um,
definitely.
but yeah, in Cincinnati, we're really, really lucky here. And shout out to Adam Frazier, who was the founder of the Cincinnati Toffees. But being a graduate of Xavier University, I'm speaking of Adam, and having taught over in Liverpool for a while, which is how he became a Blue. He came back and approached a bar owner in just off campus, just off the Xavier University campus, and asked if they would be willing to be the host pub for. He was thinking of starting an Everton supporters group in Cincinnati. So we're really, really lucky because no other or few other Everton supporters groups in the country have exclusive places to go. Typically and we have a couple of really large football pubs here in Cincinnati and that host multiple supporters groups of multiple clubs.
Yeah.
So if you go in there on match days, you've got the United fans over here, you've got our neighbors over there, you've got Arsenal over here, and you're kind of tough. You're Everton, you're kind of tucked in a corner, you're tucked away in a corner. Well, we don't have to deal with that. We not only have our own pub, but we have, they've given us exclusivity over pretty much everything except for Xavier University's own. Like if their basketball team's playing a game, we're not going to get the two. We'll probably have to move upstairs, but those conflicts are rare.
Yeah.
But even during the NFL playoffs, people were coming in to watch NFL playoff games, and they said, Everton's got these TVs. And everybody else had to watch these TVs. So it's great. So yeah, we go to Dana Gardens, which is the name of the pub on Xavier's campus. We have a growing group. I think we're approaching maybe 100 members. We have a real strong core of about 20-25. For the second derby this year, we had, I think, 35. I counted there. So we have a good group, and it's awesome that we have our own place. And it's even better for me because it's like maybe a 10-minute drive down the road, but they'll open. They've opened as early as 7 a.m. for matches. They'll open during the week for us for matches. So they take really good care of us.
Fantastic. It's brilliant that you've got an actual designated place to go and watch the games as well. And like I said before, sadly the season didn't quite go as it was looking at one stage like it might do. But just very briefly, what was your overriding thoughts on the season?
I haven't looked at the table because I think, I know we finished 10th, and I don't need to look at the fact that we finished 10th. And I think you can look at, I almost want to kind of throw out the fact that we finished 10th, because not making Europe is really the disappointment. That is a massive opportunity missed. European football was right there for the taking. Champions League football was right there for the taking. And because of the home form primarily and the injuries, we need to be honest with ourselves about that as well. But because of the home form and the injuries, we missed out on a massive opportunity to really kind of expedite the project that Carlo already has underway. But the fact that we missed European football, that's the disappointment. Whether we finish 8th, 9th, or 10th, But the fact remains, I think there's a big picture perspective though for this season. We finished 10 points better. We finished 2 spots better than in the table. I think we had 4 more wins than last year. That doesn't negate the fact that we missed a major opportunity.
No.
But so many things happened this season that were positive, which is why it's hard to look and see we finished 10th. You look at the table and you think, after all that, we finished 10th. Everton that, right? We finished 10th. It's really difficult. It's really, really difficult to consider that. But so many things happened. You win at Anfield, you win at Arsenal, you win at Spurs. You showed tremendous character in coming back to get a result against United in that one match. There were a lot of good things that happened. We upgraded the squad, there's no question. And I truly believe that if you had Alon and Decore and James in there for 25 matches, this season is it's completely different. How many matches did they play together? Did they even play 6 together?
6 or 7, I think, maximum, which is so sad, isn't it?
But we upgraded the quality of the squad. We got some of the bad contracts off. There's still some work to do in that regard. Depth was an issue. We knew that going into the season, right? The biggest concern was, if we have any injuries at all, we have no cover for these guys that are going out. Our bench was filled with U23s. So there are a lot of positives, but it's a big summer. It's always a big summer for us, it seems, but it's summer. I trust Carlo. What I think best about Baz is that there's finally kind of a top-down direction with the club. I feel like Carlo and Marcel on up to Moshiri and the board, I feel like everybody's on the same page for once. And I feel like Carlo knows what he needs. Everyone trusts Carlo to know what he needs. Marcel Brands, I think, is a good man to execute what go out and get those needs, fill those needs. And you've got the commitment from Moshiri to do what he needs to do to make that happen. So there's so much encouraging, there really is, but
fingers crossed. Definitely.
I tend to be an optimist. I do. I tend to be an optimist.
You've got it.
I don't know how to become an Evertonian being an optimist. But
I know. I don't. Well, I'm not sure. You're gonna put it this way. You're gonna need that in buckets, Jeff. You're gonna need that optimism to be a blue in buckets. Well, that just brings me on really to the Fans Forum application, which obviously you've applied for. So, why did you want to get involved in the Fans Forum? And, being so far away, I speak to Tony Sampson regularly, who's in Chicago, and he's on the Fans Forum as well. So, why do you want to become a member of the Fans Forum?
It's something that I thought, I considered for a while and thought very hard about. Now, I've already been involved quite a bit with Tony, with the North American Toffees, involved in the planning of Everton USA Live, getting involved in the soccer camps that Everton is going to be hosting here in the States, including one in Cincinnati. So be heavily involved with that. So been involved with the fan engagement team and been on some Zoom calls with the groups that are working to to promote to grow the Everton brand, to build the supporter base in North America and throughout the world. But I really just wanted to make a difference with Everton. I just wanted to become even more. I wanted to take my involvement with Everton to another level.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think we've been at a point where it's been more critical for Everton supporters, not just in L4, not just in Liverpool and England, but throughout the world, to have a close and direct connection with the club. There's so much going on right now, so many initiatives to grow the Everton brand worldwide and build the supporter base. We have a new stadium coming, and there's going to be a ton going on with that.
Yeah.
Everton just has so many different initiatives going on to really take the club into its next phase, into its future, and the supporters have to be a part of that. And I care deeply about Everton fans worldwide, and I've always said this. It's interesting because one of the things that kind of drew me to Everton was how provincial the club was. That Everton fans are in L4. Everton fans, they walk or ride public transportation to the matches. 85% I think of ticket holders at Goodison are season ticket holders. And that's a special thing. This club's commitment to the community of Liverpool, their connection, and just how much of an integral part they are of the history of the city of Liverpool and the culture of the city of Liverpool.
Yeah.
But I think I think Everton missed a big opportunity with Tim Howard. I don't think they took full advantage of the opportunity that presented itself during the decade that he was with the club. A lot of the supporters groups that kind of came out of that here in the States were grassroots efforts. And it's not that the club didn't provide any support, but it was very minimal. But I respected that about Everton, that they were so closely knit within the community of Liverpool. But now it's a big world, and the world has gotten smaller because of social media, because of business interests. And there's a massive opportunity for Everton to grow the club worldwide. Its brand, whether that be finding talent, developing talent, whether it be just growing their brand, whether it's merchandising opportunities, additional revenue streams that maybe a few years ago we didn't even know exists that are out there now globally. So I thought it was important to, the fans forum is always going to be very, very well represented by local Evertonians, and rightly so, because that's where everything starts. But I thought it was important to have global voices at this point in time. And I thought long and hard about it. I wanted to make sure that I was willing to make the time commitment. And the answer was yes. So I kind of threw my hat in the ring. So I'm really excited about it. I'm excited about the whole fans forum concept as a whole, because not many clubs do this. Not many clubs give their fans kind of that kind of voice. I think Everton legitimately cares about what their fans think and what their fans want. So that's why I'm not a politician. So I don't know how to really campaign for votes. So I've really kind of taken a different approach. I've just kind of put out on social media how important it is that if you have an Everton supporters number, please vote for the fans forum, whether you vote for me or whoever you vote for. It's important to vote, because I think at this point in time, it's never been more important for the club to maintain that connection with its fans. It's something we do really well as Everton. It's something we could do better at times. But yeah, so that's why I threw my hat in the ring. So I'm excited to have the opportunity.
Yeah, excellent. I mean, I want to kind of leave it there because I want that to be the last messaging on the thing because of why you wanted to do it. But I think it is important. I think you're right. I think for too long there was very much a L4, intrinsic nature of our club was to be closed, or not closed, because I think we've always welcomed people in from everywhere, but the view was very much like we are, if you live close to the ground, we're doing this and we're doing that. But I think for the club to grow, and we've seen this everywhere else as revenue streams and fans have grown throughout the world, particularly in the United States, the game is growing all the time. I think it is important that Everton look further afield and are represented on something like the Fans Forum by people who aren't necessarily living close to the stadium, as well as obviously people who are from Liverpool and from the UK. It's massively important that we're represented there as well, but it is good to have other representation from further afield, and I think continuing to spread the good name of the club, particularly in Cincinnati, where you are a sports journalist, so it's good to have that. It's good to have that, that in that feather in your cap as well. Being a sports journalist, but also being an Evertonian is fantastic. So, vote for Jeff. Why not? Why not? I'll put the link in the description here. You can go and have a read there and make your vote there. But Jeff, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you today, all the way from Cincinnati. Thanks for making the time to speak to me, and we will definitely catch up another time to discuss, to see how your optimism is going with the Blues, maybe ahead of next season. But good luck on good luck for the vote.
A pint in Liverpool very soon. So
that will be lovely, won't it, to just be able to travel again?
Yeah, long overdue.
massively.
Can't wait to get back. Can't wait to get back.
We can't wait to get you here as well, and come in the studio as well, of course, and that'll be even cooler.
Would love to.
Big thanks to Jeff for joining us today. Make sure you do vote in the Fans Forum. It is important. The link will be in the description. Give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. And check Jeff out on Twitter as well, at Jeff Wallner. Great pictures of Cincinnati, doing reporting for Cincinnati FC as well there. So thank you very much, and we'll see you later.